Hey, what is going on, you creaky cricketoon? The first Champions League of the year has concluded, and it came, of course, with some new card reveals. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at here today. These will be coming out in our May set, Chaos Rising, and they'll be coming out in Japan pretty soon, probably like within a month or something like that. So let's jump on into it. Starting with the B-Drill. This came out a little bit before Champions League, but I haven't taken a look at it yet. Shared my thoughts on it, so we'll start there. We got the Weedle, 50 HP. You can Buddy Poffin for it, of course, and that is something that I feel like is notable with these newer cards. Then we have the Kakuna. Takes 20 less damage from attacks, 80 HP, nothing crazy. Then we got the B-Drill, which actually does look pretty decent. It's got that B Rumble attack, 110 damage for each B-Drill you have in play, including B-Drill EX. So that does leave open some potential for future B-Drills to be printed. I think when this B-Drill EX releases, it'll be the only standard format legal B-Drill, but we could even see another B-Drill be released in Chaos Rising. We haven't seen every card coming out of the set quite yet. I don't think. No, we definitely have not. So yeah, I mean, you've got 4 B-Drill EX in play. You're doing 440 damage. We have the ticket card in format to mess with our prize card, so we can make sure we have access to our Weedles and our B-Drills. And we have Force of Vitality. Recovery wise, maybe that's where things start to get a little bit interesting. I mean, we have Lana's Aid, we have Night Stretcher, then Max Rod is probably going to be the A-spec of choice in the deck, though, because we don't have stuff like Super Rod or anything like that. But overall, I mean, hitting for 440 damage, hitting for 330 damage is also really, really good. So yeah, I have high expectations for the B-Drill EX. Up next, we do have the Mega Floette EX here. 250 HP. The Gentle Light attack for 1 psychic energy, heal 30 damage from each of your Pokemon. From each Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. Actually, I misread that there. So everyone's getting healed. And then we got the Eternity Bloom here for 3 colorless energy, 200 damage. Search your deck for up to 4 basic psychic energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way that you like. Then shuffle your deck. So not too much damage, also not too much HP, but let's skip ahead here real fast and take a look at some of the trainer cards, specifically these stadiums here. We got Prism Tower. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard 2 cards from their hand. If they do, they draw a card. So actually, like, not a terrible stadium for decks that want stuff in their discard pile. Helps them cycle the deck. Not too aggressively, of course. You're giving up 2 cards for 1 card, but it's not terrible, actually. But it can become this stadium card. You can play this card only if Prism Tower is in play, and you can play this card even if Prism Tower was played this turn. Now, usually you can only play 1 stadium per turn, but this kind of breaks that rule here. So you can immediately play Prism Tower, or you can play Prism Tower and then immediately after play this stadium. Each Mega Floette EX in play gets plus 150 HP. Overall, this is a cool, interesting mechanic that we've never seen before, evolving stadiums, and you don't have to take a turn off to evolve it like you would normally have to evolve Pokemon. So yeah, it's a pretty cool idea, mechanic, inclusion in the Pokemon TCG. Will they expand on it further? Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. This is the first stadium that we've seen with this new mechanic being utilized. Maybe there'll be new ones in the future. Maybe not, though. Maybe it's the only one. And honestly, this one does not seem very good. Now, it does give Mega Floette plus 150 HP, which is a lot of HP. But you have to play 2 stadiums. Once the Prism Stadium has already been in play, to then go to this stadium, and your opponent can immediately just bump that stadium back with a stadium of their own. So overall, the value of this seems pretty low, I'm not going to lie. So I don't think Mega Floette is actually very good at all, and neither are the stadiums. 150 HP is a lot, but when it's coming through the stadium slot to get there, it's just going to be too easy to counter. Up next, we've got the Trevenant here. I'm going to read the Trevenant first here. 130 HP, Cursed Roots for a single Psychic during your opponent's next turn. Energy can't be attached from your opponent's hand to the defending Pokemon. Overflowing Pain for 2 Psychics, 60. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on all your opponent's Pokemon. Attacks like Cursed Roots honestly would be a lot more interesting if it prevented any energy being put onto the active Pokemon. Or I guess at that point, it would effectively be some kind of like retreat lock. But like when you can Crispin or like Rose's Encouragement, even if you used Cursed Roots, it just makes attacks like Cursed Roots so much less interesting. So I wonder if we'll ever see an attack like that in the future where it limits all energy attachment from the deck, from the hand, from the discard pile to the attacked active Pokemon. That can make things yeah, definitely make things a little bit more interesting for sure. Now we got this Phantump in here with the Trevenant, which is a pretty big deal because it's got the Envious Evolution here. Once during your turn, you may put a card from your hand that evolves from this Pokemon onto it to evolve it, then put 2 damage counters on this Pokemon. You can't use this ability during your first turn, but you can use it during the first turn that Phantom is put into play after your first turn. So on turn 2, you could go bench Phantom, use Envious Evolution, immediately evolve it into Trevenant, and just have Trevenant set up ready to go. Overall, Trevenant's pretty underwhelming though. Like the Overflowing Pain does 10 more damage for each damage counter on all of your opponent's Pokemon, not your Pokemon. Otherwise, you could like use, I forget the name of the clockwork, the psychic thing that puts a psychic Pokemon back into your hand, and then you could like re-evolve the Phantom into Trevenant, and then it would take 20 more damage, and then you could like Overflowing Pain for a lot more damage, but it's damage counters on your opponent's side of the field, so it's a little bit less relevant, but it is a way to generate damage on your side of the field. I mean, Monkey Dory exists, and Gourgeist EX exists, which says this attack does 50 more damage for each of your benched Pokemon that has any damage counters on them. So definitely a couple of different ways to take advantage of Gourgeist. 30 plus 50, so we can be looking at 280 damage. You could get Area 0 involved, though, and then we're looking at 430 damage, which is quite a bit of damage. That is quite a bit. Then we got the Ghost Touch here for 2 Psychic, 140. Discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Not terrible if you're going for like a 2-hit KO. Get a little bit disruptive with Unfair Stamp, possibly as well. And these cards, of course, will be coming out after rotation. So Unfair Stamp is going to be the only good form of hand disruption. But yeah, no, there could be something here with Gourgeist. 280 is not going to be huge numbers when Mega Pokemon are becoming more and more prevalent. And that doesn't even KO something. Well, I guess you can probably KO a Dragapult because you have Clefairy EX, of course. But is there any other EX Pokemon? Like, no Charizard. Pidgeot's gone. Guardy's gone. It's kind of just Megas or big basics, I guess. Like, this would be able to KO a Mega Absol. They don't have Brave Return for their Mega Absol anymore, so something like that. But yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Maybe Area 0 will be enough to put it over the top and actually hit big enough numbers to make it relevant. Obviously, stuff like Mega Lucario, you one-hit KO with a smaller bench size. Don't have to worry about that in that matchup. We've got some more Psychic Pokemon here, and this is what makes me think there's maybe like a slight possibility for Mega Flow. Like the HP is 250 though, the attack 200 damage, but you could accelerate 4 basic Psychic Energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon any way you like. And then we have cards like this Xerneas. This attack does 30 damage times the number of Psychic Energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Pretty powerful attack. It does take 3 Psychic Energy though to attack with, so you're using this like once per game. You could use this to follow up maybe in a Mega Gardevoir deck. I feel like that's maybe a little bit more likely, is using this as a follow-up. Like you set up your Mega Guard, you use its first attack, you set up its second attack, stuff like that. And then we got the Cobalion here. That got revealed as well. It's got that Metal Road ability. Once on your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may move any amount of Metal Energy from your Pokemon in play to this Pokemon, and then Power Tackle for 200 damage during your next turn. This Pokemon can't attack. This card is super underwhelming for sure. I've already gone over AZs before, and then the last card to take a look at here, the last new card to take a look at here from the reveals at Champions League is Felipe here. Attach up to 2 basic Metal Energy from your discard pile to one of your Metal Pokemon. So this is actually pretty cool, supported, pretty powerful, but there's already so much Metal Energy acceleration in the format. We have our Chaladon. Accelerates to any Metal Pokemon in play, and it's a pretty good attacker by itself. You have stuff like Metang in the format as well, which once again, you're not going to play Felipe and Metang in the same deck. So I'm struggling to figure out where this finds a home in a Metal deck when we have so much Metal already. Maybe just to use Mega Mawile as a closer. Like maybe you could play a deck where you play Mega Mawile and you play some Metal Energy. The Metal Energy make their way to your discard pile throughout the game, and then you like go Meowth for Felipe to Mawile to knock out your opponent's active Pokemon to win the game. But if you're playing Archaladon or you're playing Metang, which are really good with Metal Pokemon to begin with, you're not going to play something like Felipe. So let me know in the comment section down below what combos could you actually use with this card to actually make it worth playing. And there is a special Metal Energy as well. The Metal Pokemon this is attached to has no retreat cost. So pretty powerful card overall in the Magnet Metal Energy. Not bad. But yeah, let me know about the Felipe. How are we going to make this thing work? Because I'm not putting it together. Besides like that specific scenario like I mentioned, like I don't think you're playing this in Archaladon to increase your odds of setting up Mega Mawile in the late game. I think Archaladon will be able to do that job fine enough. If we even see Archaladon become meta relevant again. But yeah, let me know what you think about all these cards in the comment section down below. But there is some more cards to take a look at here over on... That'll have to do. Over on Poke Beach, we got some Deoxys revealed just recently. Starting with the base Deoxys, search your deck for up to 2 basic psychic energy cards, attach them to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. For 3 psychic or 2 psychic and a colorless, 80 damage. Is attack does 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active. So nothing crazy there, but is this the one? Yes, this is the one. This Deoxys, though, for 3 psychic energy, Psy Spear, 120. If this Pokemon has at least 2 extra energy attached to it, this attack does 120 to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Super powerful attack. It does require 5 energy. It does require 5 energy. That is a lot of psychic energy. Maybe you combo that with the Mega Floette. You just play like a bunch of different of these basic psychic attackers. The Deoxys, and then we also took a look at the Xerneas as well being a possibility. We have Wondrous Patch, but maybe in some kind of Mega Guardy deck it fits a little bit better. The problem with Mega Guardy, though, is its first attack accelerates the psychic energy to each of your bench Pokemon, and then from there, using Mega Guardy's attack 2 turns in a row would be pretty bad. But maybe you do like 1 attack, and then you also play Wondrous Patch, and you also play Mystery Garden, and then you just set up for big attacks from your Xerneas. Or the Mega Gardevoir itself has a big attack, of course, and then this becomes a possibility as well. But that's 5 is a lot to build up in that way. Maybe Scramble Switch gets involved, Energy Switch gets involved, but it is a very good attack for sure. It just takes a lot of energy to pull off. Another Deoxys here, Psychic Colorless, 80 damage during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage on this Pokemon from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that has an ability. Pretty powerful potential, like situational tech card. That's how these cards always kind of find a home. And then finally, Psy Speed. One psychic, you may draw cards until you have 5 in your hand. Interesting. This is like pretty weak overall. It's not terrible though. Not sure how I feel about this one. It's almost like they're like setting up to release like more psychic stuff to combo with psychic Pokemon. Possibly. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that's it. That's all the recent reveals from Champions League and post-Champions League with those Deoxys there. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.